Okay, guys, we are back here once again. We are working on 5G1 today. This is going to be coordinate points. This is one of our favorites. If you've ever played Battleship, you should excel at the center. This doesn't take long, and it is a fun way to learn something. Okay, so label your X and Y axis and the origin of the coordinate points. This one's really easy. We've been doing coordinate points for a while, especially when we talk about our distance and equations in science. So this kind of ties into science here. So what you're going to do is label your X and Y. Okay, you should have labeled X here. You should have labeled your Y here. Okay, start in the origin, move 3 units up. Move right 3 units and move 2 units up. Plot the point and label the ordered pair. Okay, well, some of you are like, what's the origin? The origin is actually right here. This is 0, 0. It's the spot where it normally starts. It starts at a 0 and it starts with 0, both places, both on your X and both on your Y axis. So that's your origin. So now it's going to tell you to move 3 units right. So this is our right, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to move 2 units up. 1, 2. And then it wants you to label that ordered pair. And in order to do your labeled or your ordered pair, you're going to want to you write it as an X and a Y equation here. If I go, the fun thing about this is you're not Superman, you're not Spider-Man. You can't just climb a building first. So you're never going to put the 2 first because you can't just climb a building. What I like to say is, you're a normal person, so you're going to go into the building, you're going to go to the 3rd elevator, and you're going to ride it up. So there's multiple ways to look at this. So your X goes first, and that's your XY axis right here, and you have a 3, and then you go up, and your Y axis is a 2. Now, you're really going to need this in 8th grade. 8th grade, they're going to take your X and Y axes and they're going to throw it into this big equation, and you're going to have to solve for Z and all of this other stuff. So it's important that you understand how to do coordinate points because you're going to end up having to apply this later. There's also another saying that's saying if you're a child, so you crawl, you always learn to crawl before you walk. Now, if you learn to walk before you crawl, there's usually an issue that tells the brain that it's not functioning at the appropriate things. Now, some kids only crawl for so long and then they walk real quick, which is fine. But developmentally, you crawl before you walk. It's just an eye-hand coordination. So you crawl and then you walk. So just think about it those ways when we're looking at things. Okay, so when we go over to the other side here is use the coordinate points to answer the following questions. Which point is located at 4, 3? Remember that the 4 is at the x-axis and the y is at the 3-axis. So you're going to go over 4 and up 3. And if you'll take a moment to look for that and type that into Edpuzzle. Okay, which point is located 3 units away from the origin of the axis and 4 units away from the y-axis? So remember, here's your origin at your 0. It wants 3 units away from the origin on the x-axis, so I want to go over 3. And then it wants 4 units away from the y-axis. So basically, it's giving you your x-y axis, or your coordinate points here. And I kind of hinted to it. So if you'll take a moment and type that into Edpuzzle. Okay, when you're looking at this question over here, use the coordinate points to answer the following questions. Which point is located 5 units away from the origin along the x-axis and 4 units away along the way from the y-axis? So the same thing we just did. It's giving you your x and it's giving you your y. So if you'll take a moment and go over and then up and type that into Edpuzzle. Number 6. Add a point K to the coordinate grid that is 2 units away from the origin of the x-axis and 4 units away to the y-axis. So 2 units away from the origin of the x-axis, so I have to go over 2, right? And then it wants me to go 4 units away from the y-axis. So I go over 2 and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. and this would be my K. And now I would like you to write in the coordinate points for this letter. So if you'll take a moment and put in those coordinate points into your Edpuzzle. Okay. We're looking at this one right here. Use the coordinate plane to complete the problem 7 and 8. It says plot and label W76 and plot and label point B36. Okay, so I'm going to plot this because it'd be too hard to put in a puzzle. So you're going to go over 7, and I'm going to go up 6. And so I'm going to go right here. And that's W. And if I'm moving too fast at any time, you know you can pause me and keep going. Plot label B at 3, 6. Go over 3, go up 6, and this is plot B. And how many units apart are W and B? Explain your thinking. So if you'll take a moment and think about how many spots they're apart, and what you should have said is they are 4 units apart. And you can't say it's right or left in a sense, because if you're looking at B, they're 4 units apart to the right. But if you say W, then you're saying 4 units to the left. So we're just going to generically call this as 4 units apart. Okay. Looking at the back, point R is 8 units away from the origin of the x-axis and 5 units away from the y-axis. What are the coordinate points for R? Now remember what we've been talking about. It's telling you the origin of the x and it's telling you the origin of the y, and you now need to be able to plot that. So if you'll take a moment and choose the right answer. Okay, number 10, plot and label point F and G on the coordinate grid. Point F has the coordinates of 8, 3. So I'm going to go over 8, up 3, and this is G. And, oh, sorry, I apologize. That is F. And point G is located 4 units above the point F. So if you'll take a moment and point your point G, and it should look like that. Make sure if you have any questions, you come and ask. Please make sure this is turned into your centers for the week.